Welcome to techCast, the podcast that quenches curiosity, powered by Q&A Markham. techCast, where we deep dive into the exciting world of technology, bringing you the latest trends, innovations, and thought-provoking discussions. Join us on this exciting journey as we explore the boundless possibilities of technology.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TechCast powered by Q&A Marcom, where we talk about various different technology topics and have interesting conversations with the people who are making an impact on those topics. My name is Swapna Subramani, and I'm your host for today. It gives me great pleasure to welcome a very distinguished speaker and guest today at our studios. He's the Group CIO of Gargash Enterprises, Mr. Faisal Ali. Welcome, Mr. Faisal.
Hello.
So, Mr. Faisal Ali is an executive director. He has over 20 years of experience in both government as well as private organizations. He has specializes in setting up startup government agencies as well as implementing large-scale IT infrastructure projects. And today we are here to talk about a very interesting and relevant topic. He has a keen interest in disruptive technologies, and we are here to talk about AI and automation that is kind of changing the course of future as we speak. So, welcome, Mr. Faisal, once again. It's
Thank
a
you for
pleasure
having
having you here.
Thank you for having me over.
And I just wanted to start with, knowing a little bit more about your journey. Like, how did you make it here? Your journey to be a CIO.
Oh, absolutely. But one thing I would like to set the record straight. I'm the Group CIO for Gargash Group,
Gargash Group.
and
Okay.
Gargash Enterprises is part of our wonderful group.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. My journey, started many, many years ago. I was still in my early years, 10, 11 years old with my Atari.
Nice.
And one of my relatives, saw my interest, not just from a gaming perspective, but also from a curiosity perspective. And he got me a cartridge of Atari Basic. And I could create a program that would print my name across the screen, and I could flash it in different colors. I could sort of animate it as early as that animation was, and I think I never looked back. From there, it was just from there to Sinclair, to Commodores, to Amigas, to PCs, to into my professional life, and here we are today.
Wow. So it's like a kind of a transition from like gaming into tech, and then where you are here today.
Very much so, very much so. In fact, in the early days, the exploration was quite different, and the
Yes.
and the software, and I shouldn't really call it software development. It was more like hobby programming,
Right.
I should say. And my older brother and I used to get those old graph paper sheets.
Okay.
And we would actually draw out cartoons that we would want to actually then program onto the screen, because
Oh,
these
wow.
would be the pixels that would switch on and off in different colors.
Right.
And, we kind of wanted to code it on paper before we coded on the screen, kind of a thing.
Wow.
And it never came out the way it was intended to.
But still, you tried, and I think
Oh,
kudos to that.
we did.
Kudos
We
to
used
that.
to have a blast. It used to take us hours and hours and hours to do that. And
Nice.
I think that just kind of got me into that love, into that passion of developing and getting into the whole tech scene.
From the grassroots. Great. So, specifically, like today, we want to talk about AI and automation in business processes. So, how do you think AI and automation has evolved, right, over the past few years, and how is it impacting the business processes?
That's a great question. It's evolved. So automation has evolved quite a bit, and it's maturing to a reasonable degree. While AI is a broad spectrum of technologies. It's not just one single piece. I know today the buzzword is AI, and everybody kind of interchanges it with our generative AI as AI and
Yes.
large language models as AI.
Yes.
No, but there's a lot more. There's the computer vision. There's the capability to read text, OCR, that we've been using for
Yes.
decades now, and so on and so forth. In fact, if I take you back just a little bit into the history of the evolution of these systems, back in the 80s and the 90s, early 90s, we used to call them decision support systems.
Yes.
And that's what they were. And then that eventually, in the early 2000s, evolved into BI.
Yes. Business intelligence. Of course,
And
yeah.
from BI, we then moved into the cloud era. And into the cloud, you had the capability of computer vision, computer hearing. OCRs became so much better. You had live transcriptions, live translations coming on, and eventually now to what we call the large language models.
Yes.
So these technologies, as they're maturing, they are having a great impact on the business. If we just go back a few years during the COVID time, where the whole world just kind of went remote, we weren't used to working remote, and all of a sudden these remote meetings became the way to work.
Yes.
And as they evolved, so did the transcription, so did the translation, so that multiple people from different parts of the world could talk in their own languages, and this is now getting better and better. So there's a lot of impact. There's a little bit of scare around, I'll get automated out of my job. I'm gonna get, AI is gonna think me out of my job. I say quite the opposite. AI is going to be there to augment, to help us.
Complementary.
Absolutely complementary for humans. It's not going to take over. Yes, there's going to be certain jobs that are very repetitive that are going to be automated, but that has been our history throughout.
Yes.
Whether it was the printing press, whether it was the electricity and the light switch or the light bulb or anything else, you name it. We've gone through those transitions multiple times.
Absolutely.
That's nothing new for us.
Absolutely.
We just get bigger and better. Now, I have an unverified number that I heard yesterday coming out of COP28 discussions on the AI. And again, it's unverified right now, but the number was that over the next decade, 85 million jobs are going to be lost to AI. But on the flip side of it, 97 million jobs will be created.
Okay.
So it is a net gain. It's just going to be a different type of jobs that are going to be there.
An evolution of the kind of job profiles, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Great. So what about some of the challenges? Because of course, AI and automation would not come with its set of challenges. So what are some of the challenges that businesses face today? And how do you advise businesses to overcome these challenges?
Just like anything else. Again, I go back over and over to my early days in the career, or even prior to that. The only way to a solution was to break it down into its simplest forms.
Yes.
I started, or I should say, I was lucky enough to start when 16K of memory, right? Not gigs, not megs. 16K of memory was huge, right? I had a Sinclair Spectrum 48K. It had 48K of memory, and we could play 3D games in there, rendered in almost near real time, screen by screen. So we had to break things down to a single screen, to a few objects on the screen, and it's the same. You want to look at a complex process, break it down into simpler processes, and then break it further down till you can't break it anymore. When you get to the atomic level of a process, right, when you can't break it down any further, right, without it losing its meaning, that's when you start really automating. And even then, there are a lot of legacy platforms that just don't play well, that just don't automate very well. And that's just simply because they were written in a day and an age when we couldn't even think about these things.
Yeah. So when it comes to these challenges, of course, I think we were having a conversation earlier about trying to humanify things, right? To try to make it more acceptable to the people who are using it, so that the processes don't seem overwhelming. So how do you think to kind of balance with that human element of things, right? How to get human beings not too overwhelmed by technology? Because I think that I see that as a main key challenge, right? Is to that resistance. So just your take on that.
So I always ask a couple of questions, and I'll give a few references over here, right? No endorsements, but just a few references from my personal experiences. We've been watching movies like The Terminator, like The Matrix, Space Odyssey, Star Wars, where you've got these intelligent machines carrying out a lot of these different tasks that humans do, or pose humans, pose dangers to humans. That's just sci-fi being romanticized. That's all it is. It's no more than that. The reality of it is that AI and machine learning is actually there to help augment us. Now, there was a time not too long ago where Word, Excel, PowerPoint, email, right, was something completely new. We knew nothing about, but today we can't live without it. AI and automation is going to be the same way. It's not going to be automating you out of a job. It's going to be you automating the menial tasks that you do, so you could focus and target better, higher reward kind of
induce efficiency in your
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, you crunch numbers all day,
Yeah.
and then what, right? Get the bot, get the agent, get the AI to crunch the numbers for you while you sleep, while you have dinner with your children, while you go out with your family and have a wonderful time out of office. And when you come to the office in the morning, it's going to be ready for you.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, yeah, I think when the people using these technologies start to think of it in that way, to use it as like a tool, as an assistive tool that can help them improve efficiencies. I think that's what makes the big difference. So we're bringing in the human element. When you're talking about automation, how to balance the two? Because there are a lot of business critical processes and decision making that can be automated, but ultimately need that human interface as well. So how to strike the right balance between that? Like what can be automated, how much human intervention should be there, and how to kind of decide the criticality of a business process, where what the right balance should be.
That's a great question. And a loaded one at that.
It is.
Okay, so I'd say it very simply, very openly, right? If it's a tactical decision, right, that can be made at a ground level, that has a measurable output of an efficiency,
Yeah.
of simple profitability, of a simple, very simple measurable KPI, automate it,
Okay.
bring an AI into that piece, bring AI into that conversation, and understand that, right? Uh, I'll give you an example: sentiment analysis, call centers, right, or social media. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to put 4 different humans to do a sentiment analysis on a bunch of data that comes in, we probably will have 4 different results,
Yeah.
depending on the mood the people were in, depending on how much sleep they'd probably had, and their personal backgrounds. Because you and I would take things in very different contexts because of our cultural differences.
Of course.
Right? So same thing would mean very different to you and me. A friend of mine gave me a great example of that. You know, he took a bunch of people into a room, he put a picture on the wall, and he said, "What do you see?" And there were 15 people and 15 different answers,
Yeah.
all looking at the same picture at the same time.
Yeah.
But if you have an algorithm that looks at it in a specific way,
It's more objective.
it's going to be more objective for
Yeah.
you. So that's how really we should be approaching these things. Now, if the impact is strategic,
Yeah.
right? If that's the lifeline of your organization, if that's the future of your organization, then by all means, a human has to take the accountability, the responsibility of taking that decision. They can be assisted with technology, but at the end of the day, the responsibility and the accountability is that of the human, and we cannot take them out.
Yeah. Makes sense. And what do you see? How do you see the next 10 years shaping up with AI and automation, specifically for businesses?
I see my personal vision of tech coming true.
Okay. Which is?
You're gonna laugh at this, which is what I call the evolution of humans in IT. And typically, the theory of evolution, we started from water,
Yeah.
right? Single cell. We moved into fish. We moved into four-legged creatures. Eventually, into the form of humans. In the IT world, as you evolved, you've got only 2 hands and 2 eyes, and you could probably do 1 or 2 tasks at a time.
Yeah.
To me, the ultimate evolution would be that of a jellyfish.
Okay. Interesting.
Multiple autonomous appendages carrying out all the tasks in symphony, right, without one having the impact on the other. And even if you lose one, right, it is non-critical because it will come back, you will grow it back, you will have a recovery methodology for it.
Wow.
The organism continues to work.
Amazing. And what did you call it? The evolution of
Humans and technology.
Humans and technology. Wow, that's great. I think I like it, and I think that
Thank
should
you.
be like the key takeaway of our TechCast today is how the evolution of humans and technology is going to happen, where multiple things happen in symphony, and I think that's a really encouraging thought, and very insightful as well. So
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you a lot, Mr. Faisal, for your time today, and I really enjoy this conversation, and I think we're going to name this TechCast, the evolution of humans and technology. So thank you for that, and thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for tuning into TechCast by Q&A Marcom, and we are very happy to be part of this series, and please do tune in for a lot more from here. Thank you.
techCast, powered by Q&A Markham, unraveling the enigmas of the digital age in every episode. Subscribe to techCast on YouTube and on your favorite podcast directory, and never miss an update.